All right, and we are here, ready to go on Dorado. And I need to fix the overlay. We'll see these teams get ready to go and see who can take home the victory today, whether it's going to be Hybris or Golden Kitsunas.
Yeah, this matchup is looking very strong here. I'm not really too sure. I can't really say my predictions here, seeing as how every game has come out with an underdog victory. But yeah, I'm really interested to see. I'd definitely say GK is the underdog here, but I mean, they've been performing very strong for the most part throughout
And
this entire dive tournament.
it's hard to argue, right? Like, we thought that they were going to get rolled by RAT. It didn't happen. There was a pretty good argument for them to lose to Moose Knucklers, but they took that one 2-1.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could go either way.
So we've got the Diva Ball as we saw in first game. Got the Monkey Diva as we saw last game against C9 with Hybris. They seem to be taking high ground here. GK is contesting them pretty well. He misses a cooldown, gets hacked, has to retreat.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty rough, right? So both teams have to sort of regroup and take the fight back to the cart. So GK didn't really push. They tried to get some picks first. They didn't get the picks.
They made a lot of space. I mean, just even throughout that entire fight, even though they got no picks, they made a little bit of space here, but they did fail to take the high ground there, which gives Hybris the advantage here.
Yeah, so far, I mean, the fight's definitely not decided, right? There's plenty of opportunity for both teams to shake things up a bit, but...
Absolutely. It seems like Lucio's gonna go down here.
Yeah, that time lost is pretty significant, all things considered. Like, both teams got a little bit of ult charge, but, you know, Hybris gets the better of it because they get to burn, you know, the time resource.
Absolutely, and they managed to find some picks in return as well.
GK's gonna have to back up here and regroup once Todd's back up.
Both teams are taking tons of damage, seeing how like both Mercies have gotten their ults pretty quickly here.
Yes, yeah, and Lucio's already at 89%, and Zenyatta also has ult, so...
Absolutely, both teams are taking a ton of damage here, as well as pumping out damage. The trans goes out, bomb goes out from J2. Manages to zone a bit here. EMP goes out, massive EMPs from both teams.
Yeah,
but I think this fight is going to Hybris here, seeing as how Todd's mines have been canceled here.
Yeah, that's a pretty big loss, right?
Absolutely. The mines did manage to find the Sombra though, so it's not completely lost for GK here.
Right, Isma gets hacked way forward, which is unfortunate, but GK backs off a little bit, so Isma's gonna live to see another fight.
The Doom ult goes through. I don't think it was necessary. He does get punished for it. Navin making quite a bit of space with the Primal Rage here. Managed to stagger Todd by a sizable time here.
Yeah, so GK having a hard push in only 48 seconds to push it all the way to the final point here, but
definitely looking rough. It's definitely winnable here though.
Definitely. I mean, there's ults on Hybris' side, but there's also ults for GK to play with.
Yeah, I do think this is gonna go to the Zenyatta again. I mean, the discords are just too rough. It's hard to deal with. Especially when you don't have a Zarya or anything, you know?
And if you don't adapt to to that kind of pressure,
Yeah.
you aren't gonna succeed. Like, it just...
I mean, you can't blame them. It's extremely hard to respect, you know, the Zenyatta Discord with this kind of comp. It's either you respect it and get nothing done, or you just, you know, take the risk and push in and get punished for it.
Right, well, with that,
Potentially.
the Transcendence comes out, but the bomb still finds Doomfist, and the EMP comes out now from GK. But
They're managing to make quite a bit of space here. The EMP comes out, manages to find 3. Eva having quite a rough time, manages to pull out with her mech. GK found a pick on Sombra.
yeah, that's
God,
rough. They all
that's
walked
the
off,
point.
and
I don't even think it was that. I think it was just the 3K bomb that Isma just got. It was absolutely massive.
the bomb did get 3. That helps.
This is a huge play on Isma's
So-
part.
With that, Hybris doesn't have to push a terribly long way. They didn't, you know, GK failed to get even the first point. So Hybris, if they can get it under this bridge, be all right.
Looking very unfortunate for GK here.
This could
But,
be a very short push on Dorado, but they will still have a couple more opportunities if they fail here.
Absolutely.
That's a big
Carries
if.
on defense because it's not really seeming like the ball is working out here.
Yeah, ball is a big target for Discord Orb, right? Like,
Absolutely. And the hacks, as well as the Doomfist
Yeah.
cooldowns.
you get slowed way down, you take a ton of damage, which means that you're also pumping in a bunch of ult charge to the other heroes on
Absolutely.
the enemy
It
team.
also just goes to show, like, in this meta, main tanks are just so hard to play, especially with the amount of focus that just, you know, it comes off of the DPS and goes straight to the main tanks in this meta, and I think this is a huge showcase of that. I mean, like, Odd's probably taking the most damage here as Ball, and I don't know, it's just kind of rough to play main tank here.
I mean, it's a similar
Because,
situation to what we saw with Cloud9, right? You can jump into
Yeah,
the back
absolutely.
line, you can get a lot of damage done, but ultimately if they turn around and delete you, it's just kind of over.
Not worth it, yeah. And it's hard to play Ball here in the high ground as well, and kind of rough. They're just gonna probably roll up to the high ground and take it back, but you know, the D.Va can help with a lot of that. D.Va seems to be defense matrixing most of the damage here.
Yeah, so Hybris loses their Sombra pretty early, but it's gonna get picked back up.
NH's reses are just going uncontested here.
And understandably
They
so,
managed
because
to
GK
find
got
the
pushed
Doom.
back.
They managed to find the Zenyatta, which could be a huge pick here.
It could be exactly what they need to open this fight up and push on through, but at the same time, they're, you know...
Their Ball is continuing to keep high ground. A little bit questionable, but it seems to be working out. They seem to be, you know, keeping in the distance, as well as, you know, the point lockdown. Doom is just going uncontested on this point here.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, they're giving a lot of this space back up to Hybris, so GK only has a couple meters left, and
Yep.
they're getting pushed all the way back. Dueling bombs come in. Hybris finds Sombra, so that's a lot of disruption that's just disappearing. Todd is going to be the sole toucher for GK right now. Big EMP.
Absolutely. The EMP comes out fairly early, seeing as how Lucio still has his beat. Beat gets out. Mercy gets her res canceled. The EMP goes out, finds 3 or 4, I mean.
But it's not going to be
Wow,
enough.
the
It looks
Doom
like
finds the
Hybris is going to
Mercy.
push this in.
Absolutely. The Mercy going down was a huge hit for GK there.
Some last second mines go out, but Zenyatta does the job as a minesweeper,
yeah.
and that is going to be a first map 1 for Hybris.
Yeah. Oh man, that was tough. Yeah, Isma was top in this round. Honestly, this 3K bomb was insane.
So with that, we will be back very shortly to set up for King's Row. Don't go anywhere. All right, everybody, we are back and ready for some more action on King's Row. Hybris is up 1 after their victory on Dorado, and Golden Kitsunes will be looking to make things even here so that they are 1 map further from the end. With that, it'll be interesting to see, does Golden Kitsunes, do they switch off of the Wrecking Ball that has been kind of an issue for them? Looks like Todd's picking the Wrecking Ball again. Hopefully for them, they can start making it work, but it's looking like they're getting shut down pretty hard by the Sombra. Shark is playing really, really strong.
Not just the Sombra, but the Zenyatta, again, is just a huge issue that no team playing against Hybris has seemed to really deal with, properly. I mean, either you respect the Discord and, risk getting nothing done, or you try your best to just tank it and possibly get punished. Like I said last round, Discord is really shredding the ball.
Yes.
Like they're taking a lot of space early on.
So we immediately see a push right around the statue on the right here.
Yep, the tanks just give all that space for the Doom to get picked off, and then Todd gets found again due to the Discord as well as the Sombra. Yata finds a nasty pick on the Mercy. Sombra coming in around to touch, but I don't think it's any use.
Yeah, so Hybris gets 3 early picks and locks that fight in. This is not what GK wanted to see.
Absolutely not. That's a 5-minute hold they're gonna have to manage. They're already getting staggered here.
See you later.
Luckily, the D.Va comes in the peel, but Ryoko pushes back in. Cooldowns take him back.
It's definitely looking a little bit rough. They're gonna get a lot of free push off of some pretty ugly staggers.
Absolutely. The D.Va seems to be taking high ground. Forces Doom off.
Bomb comes
Doom
out from Hybris.
Bomb finds the Lucio. Curious to see if the Diva will fall back. Ends up finding massive bomb.
Another bomb.
Finds nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Not as successful. They do pick out the Doomfist for Hybris, though, which is going to give GK the opportunity to win this fight pretty decisively. If they can get one more pick, I think Hybris will have to fully back off.
Absolutely. EMP goes out. Massive.
Both EMPs go out.
Yeah.
Dude, GK
That was a
entirely
six.
hacked. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a 6-man EMP.
So Hybris manages to sort of stall this fight and keep the cart where it is.
Going in.
And they only lose Navid to it.
Navid in the process.
Another bomb.
Another bomb.
Another beat goes out. It catches Lucio. It catches. Well, it doesn't catch Doomfist, but Doomfist was already down, and then Mercy's fallen as well. So Hybris is going to get.
Hybris has managed to take this back.
Yeah, they're going to get a little bit of push around this corner, but GK did manage to burn a full minute.
Yeah.
Or, basically.
Minute and a half almost. I want to credit Hybris for this. They're just so good at like somehow keeping the fight going and then taking the fight back. Like usually you see in ranked, like you want to fall back, like completely reset, but Hybris really knows when like you need to just keep the fight going, you know?
Yeah, they're really strong with keeping pressure on a team with, you know, minimal loss, right? They lose a tank, they stay in.
And minimal resources as well, because GK had a few picks there and they still lost that fight.
So another self-destruct that doesn't hit anything, but Hybris is down one, and Doomfist is still walking back. Golden Kitsune is also down one. So it looks like Hybris is going to back up.
Take this back. Yep, Hybris is falling back. Another thing I'd like to mention is like a lot of times in this meta you see that like man advantage matters, but it's not like it's not gonna matter so much that like without man advantage you can't win the fight, you know?
Right.
Like, it's mostly about positioning here, you know? Like especially with the supports.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Hybris understands, right? Like Hybris is making the right decisions. They're making the right call on whether to push or hold, and I think that's something we haven't really seen from the other teams, like you were saying before. They're really good at knowing when they can push and when they can't.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's really impressive. Like it's impressive to see like a team execute that, like, you know, well and cleanly on the Switch, especially. I mean, like, it's just a good feature to have when you're playing a team game like this. In this current meta especially, because in previous metas, you know, like it was more about team or like man advantage. It was more about man advantage. Like if you had the upper hand, there's no doubt you're gonna push in. Massive bomb from J2.
Yeah, 2 self-destructs go out, but only 1 finds anything, and GK wins that fight, and they're gonna keep Hybris off. So they've managed to take that 5-minute time bank down to 1.5 minutes without giving up another point, which is tremendous for them.
Impressive, actually. I mean, this is the map that you see a lot of these turnarounds on, though. I mean, in the grand finals, in the Overwatch League, you saw that Gold Dynasty managed to hold for a full like 4 minutes before losing to a full push. But I mean, it's still impressive to see like that GK is able to put up this kind of fight, you know.
Right, there's a real chance that the Sense-Up actually going into overtime or getting at least very close to overtime, which, if they can keep this to 2, that makes the push that they have to make that much easier.
Absolutely.
Especially if they can get the same kind of advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mercy has Valk up. They can easily win this fight with another bomb.
Yeah, and
a lot of pressure going on their Diva though. No peel. Diva loses mech.
Hybris does have the ult advantage here too.
Yep, absolutely. Hybris does have the ult advantage. J2 gets rezzed. Might be able to get a bomb off here. Bomb goes out.
So we see Navid
Finds
and
nobody. Navid and Primal.
Primal ends. Isma's gonna bomb.
Mines go out. Grands to mine sweep. Hybris finds 2.
Meteor cleans up. Lucio on point.
Oh my gosh.
Percy
I think that
almost
goes
gets
to
that
Hybris.
res.
Ball to contest, but it's no use. No one to touch.
Hybris in OT is gonna manage to
Take
get
this one
this
back.
second point. Bring us into that final area.
I honestly would be surprised to see if they actually make a full push, because I mean GK, although they got fully steamrolled first point, they had a massive defense in second point. They held for a full 5.5 minutes into OT.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that bought them a lot of opportunity to potentially shut out a full push.
Absolutely, and I think partially it's very easy to get caught like by surprise on the first map, or the first point. Sorry, it's fairly easy to get caught by surprise there, and I think that's exactly what happened to GK there. They just made a mistake and instantly got punished for it, but they redeemed themselves by holding for 5.5 minutes.
Right.
Ball fun. Yada, huge pick.
We're gonna see, I think, a big EMP here from Shark.
A massive EMP bomb from Shark and Isma here. J2 manages to survive. Mercy's in bulk as well. J2 might be able to find a bomb here. They can break Winston's shield or possibly kill him off here completely.
It's getting dangerous.
Sends it out anyway. Massive EMP plus the mines.
A little bit weak on the bomb, but the mine finds Doomfist.
Monkey gets hacked, canceling Primal
So
for now.
GK is gonna need to touch.
Absolutely.
They get the Sombra. Doomfist is low.
Yeah, Hybris might have this last point here, and they find
And they
it.
get it. Yep.
The
So
full
that's-
push was expected, to be honest, but I mean, to stall that to 0 is just impressive. That's all I can say. I'm speechless.
Yeah, the OT hold means that GK has their push a lot easier. It's not going to be nearly as difficult as it was looking when there was that 5-minute time bank against them. I think really they just need to switch off the ball. If they can,
Absolutely.
if they can make that change, if they can start being able to push without giving up ult charge and without giving up 5v6 type fights every fight, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, even if they ran the ball with this Zenyatta, like a mirrored support play here, I think they could manage it, but I don't know. I'm not too sure. I think just Hybris is, their Zenyatta is just so good. Like, that's all I can say. Their discords, as well as the synergy between Zenyatta and Shark here, as well as Shark's synergy with Isma, is just a lot of follow up from Hybris here, and the fact that GK's pod won't switch off the ball is just kind of it's throwing them off. I feel like it's really throwing them off.
I think it's a missed opportunity.
For sure.
That we will find out for sure if it is, because we are back and ready for the action. Hybris choosing to hold that high ground, so GK is going to get freely around the statue and straight to point, but it means that Hybris is going to have the opportunity to just drop on them from all angles.
Absolutely. Perfect example of high ground always wins. Ryoko finds Shark. J2 with an early pick on Doomfist as well.
So Ryoko's going to go after the Zenyatta in the back, but not going to find
Goes
the
back
pick.
really far. They do have Isma isolated. I'm surprised they don't you know, push her.
Yeah, they're giving up 2 ticks though. So Hybris, even if they win the fight, the next fight for GK is going to be a lot easier with those ticks. So Hybris will win this fight. GK is going to have to back out or reset. But their next fight's a lot easier with that 87% point capture.
Absolutely. I'm surprised that Hybris gave up that much space and that much percentage early on.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a big push here. So
Absolutely.
GK
They're going for the full regroup here.
Yeah, if they can get a first early pick with one of these ults, then this point is probably as good as theirs. So they get the Sombra out. Shark's down. Doomfist is going to have to ult to get out. And takes out the Doomfist. I think that's enough for them to win this point.
Yep.
But
Doom is taking on both tanks.
Zenyatta being the Minesweeper again. I know Hybris is bringing this back. Their tank line is just too strong, apparently.
Absolutely. I'm surprised that GK's Ryoko decided to take the fight with both tanks and a support.
I mean, Ryoko got 2 fight picks early. I could see that being the justification to push in. I don't think they expected the tanks to come back in.
I think possibly if his team pushed in like with him instead of just completely rushing the point, I think they might have won that fight.
I need healing.
Yeah, I can see that being the reason that fight got lost, maybe? Like, having the pressure but not having the sustain.
Exactly.
So now we're gonna see a choke war at this first choke by the statue until somebody finds an opening and pushes in. JTO is gonna jump in and there's the EMP.
5 man, sorry. Shark still has their EMP. Seems like an EMP bomb coming out here.
The bomb finds Todd. So just like that, Hybris takes the point back. Golden Kitsune's has to back off a little bit.
Maybe not. They can pick off the monkey here, which means they have no main tank. And they do manage to find the first point.
So that's GK getting point 1. Hybris is going to have to back up a little bit or reset. Looks like Isma's going to get out safely before...
Doom taking the 1v1 with the other Doom.
And Hybris taking the Doom fight W.
Yep.
Sombra translocates out. So JTO has the bomb. It'll be interesting to see if they break this barrier and then, yep. It doesn't get anything.
Another Doom 1v1 going on in the backline, but Hybris' Doom managed to get out.
Avid takes out the Primal Rage, and that allows them to take out the Wrecking Ball pick there.
Making a lot of space here as well. Straight back into their spawn with a massive EMP on the Winston. The Transcendence goes out. Unable to sweep the mines. The bomb goes out from Isma. Mines too. Massive.
And D-Mex JTO. Yeah, this is looking pretty rough. GK is stuck at this choke, and this choke can be pretty nasty unless you can get a big pick or 2 off of an ult, but they're a little bit low on ults here. They're waiting on the bomb, and they're waiting on EMP and the Meteor Strike probably, but...
Currently all they have is both support ults. That's rough. Relying on support ults when a fight is not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, and something I don't think I've seen nearly as much on Switch as I see on other platforms, though, is Lucio's ult as an engagement ult, using it offensively versus as a defensive support ult. And that could have been the difference for GK, but not so much. It looks like Ryoko is going to use that Meteor Strike just to get out. while being harassed by Navid's Winston in the backline, and Navid gets the pick, which means that they're going to have that extra little bit of stagger power.
I think possibly the reason why in this situation that the Lucios aren't using their ults offensively is because there's a Sombra present. And if you're tracking the Sombra's ult like correctly, then you're gonna know that if you use your ult offensively, especially a beat, you get in and it instantly gets canceled. You're in a horrible position at that
Right. Yeah, there is that threat.
massive.
And there, yeah, see, there's the offensive.
There goes the EMP bomb. Finds nobody.
And that's going to be the opening that GK needs. If they can get another pick here, they'll win this fight securely.
The pick on the Mercy was actually massive. They're gonna have to deal with the baby diva on point before they can move it any further. It dies to mines.
This is going to be really rough, though. They're in OT, and they have to push it all the way around that corner and up to that big open area.
They're also down a main tank and main DPS. Monkey jumps on point to deal some cleave damage. Falls to Sombra. Dark is really disrupting the Doom here.
This is looking pretty rough for Hybris. GK solidly holding this point. Doomfist is waiting in the back. Sombra's planning.
Gets found by the ball.
Yeah, this might have been a fight that they didn't take as quickly as they wanted to. I think they had a plan there with the Doomfist, but they didn't get it all ready to go as quickly as possible.
Yep, the ball found him way before. Massive stagger on the Mercy.
It's stuck on the floor.
Still found the Mercy. They found the first or second point. I really think GK has the potential to get into like a second round or extra rounds here.
Yeah, so I could see GK pushing at the rest with 1 minute and 20 seconds. They've got the ult advantage, barely, but they do have it. I could see if they can get the first pick.
They could definitely win this fight, but the EMP could also swing the fight massively. EMP was massive.
Hybris Doomfist in the backline takes out the other Doomfist and the Mercy. Sombra takes out the Lucio. It's not looking good for GK right now. JTO's out of mech. JTO resets. They've got 40 seconds to get this put back together and push it back around that corner.
Yeah, like I said, the EMP was gonna really dictate, that fight. And Hybris used it a bit early and manages to reset GK's push right there.
And the cost of that is that now GK is going to have their own EMP, which is going to give them the opportunity to engage for free.
Absolutely.
If Sombra can
the
find
Diva
the
Bomb
opening.
goes out, finds no one. Mines go out. Full tank ult's a little bit early there.
Sombra whiffs the EMP. It doesn't find anybody on Hybris, and it got put out.
Looking very rough for GK here. They do res the Sombra. Oh, sorry. Great on my part. Pod goes down to the Zen again.
Hybris is swarming the point. They have Ball, they have Lucio, they have Mercy on point for GK, but that may not be enough. Lucio goes
comes
down.
In, finds the Lucio.
And they get off the point. So that's another win for Hybris. This could be the final map coming up on Ilios, but it could go either way. If GK does better on control than they've been doing on Hybrid and Escort, we could extend this out to Havana or maybe even Lijiang Tower.
This play from the Doom was massive. Although I would have given the play to the Sombra. Sombra found like 5 EMP targets.
Yeah, there was a couple of really big EMPs, but ultimately it came up short here. But with that, we will be back shortly for what could be the final match on Ilios. Don't go anywhere. All right, everybody, we are back for what could be the final rounds unless Golden Kitsunes makes a big play here. We are on Ilios, and it looks like we're starting off on the windmill map. I'm spacing on the actual name of the stage.
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse,
Could
there we
actually favor the ball here, but at the same time, you know, these discords and hacks are just really just punishing the living heck out of their ball. It's very hard for the ball to make any kind of space, especially with these discords and the hacks going out, and so much follow up on both of those CC. Or sorry, discord's not really a CC, but it is, you know, a lot of damage going through to this ball, and he's the main tank, so he's the main focus of all of these discords and hacks. So really oh, he
switched to the Winston. It's funny though, because if there was ever a map to play ball, I would think that this and Well are it. You have all that extra environmental kill opportunity, but he switches to the Winston, and we'll see if it pays off. I think that could be the change that they need.
It is already seeing as how they picked off the Zen, the Monkey, and they do lose the Doom, but I think GK can take this point right here.
I think this first fight is well in their control. It's Squishy's, although Todd needs to get out.
Yeah,
so Todd falls, but they cap the point. He's going to get picked back up. So if they can take care of the two tanks that are pushing the point, it'll be pretty big staggers for Hybris. Although if Hybris gets back before the tanks go down, this could be a shorter fight.
They do find the Mercy on Hybris. They do find the Hybris' Mercy. And Hybris does whip a bomb, so I think GK does have the ult advantage here, as well as the man advantage. This could be another fight won by GK.
Hybris needs to be really careful about potential stagger, and it looks like they're taking that to heart. They're backing up, and they're going to regroup for a real fight rather than just the sustained waffling on point. But D.Va gets demeched, which is not good for them.
Absolutely.
At the same time, JTO gets demeched.
I'm curious to see how the Tracer's going to work out. It seems like Hybris is taking advantage of the fact that Todd really doesn't play Monkey here. He's kind of out of his element here. And, you know, Tracer could be, you know, punish that, you know? Massive EMP from GK. Finds 4.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty good. Todd jumps off the edge in Primal, which is not great, but I can't say that I haven't done that before.
I think just because of that, Hybris wins this fight, which feels bad, man.
We'll call it a reset, right? Todd's back on the ball. I think, you know, it may have been a decision made to get the team back quicker. We'll see. So now we've got Ball D.Va. Otherwise, pretty much the same we've seen for most of the round from PK. Lucio, Moira, Zenyatta, Doomfist.
J2 could find a massive bomb here.
It's gonna keep people off the point, but doesn't do a whole lot
really
there.
Help.
Ryuko goes down, Zenyatta's down, Pulse Bomb goes out and catches the Sombra. So Hybris has the numbers advantage, but GK has the ball, just spinning to win.
I think GK has the numbers advantage here, seeing as how the Sombra has just been picked back up, and the Hybris' Monkey has just fallen.
Yeah, and D.Va's out of mech and down, so GK is going to recapture this point at 75% for them and 55% for Hybris. And they're going to get a little bit of cleanup.
Yep, the Tracer seems to be overextending. Tries the Pulse, finds nobody.
Yeah, this is last
Massive
fight territory for Hybris if they don't take it back.
I think Todd might be able to build mines here and close this fight out. Hybris gets a massive EMP, finds the D.Va and the Lucio. Lucio goes down.
JTO back in mech is going to push down the Sombra. EMP goes out on the side of Golden Kitsunes, which is going to secure this fight, possibly.
Yep, finds the main tank with the mines and the...
last-ditch transcendence, him and Tracer.
Both support ults going out. Mercy gets the res on their main tank. Hybris wins this fight.
But it's 99% for GK. They have the potential ult advantage unless Tracer builds hers.
Absolutely. Still an impressive trade-off on that point control. I'm surprised Hybris was able to take that back with both support ults. It did take a lot, but I mean, you know, as Hybris knows when to invest those ults just to keep the point theirs, you know? Or just to keep the game going.
Switch to ball might have made the decision making there. Might have made
Yeah,
it.
switch the ball might have screwed them. But I mean, I can't say I agree or disagree yet, seeing as how he's finding picks right now.
Yeah, he's
Massive
taken over the
finds
point.
last fight as well. I mean, they just instantly rolled that point back. Absolutely. Bomb
And the
goes
bomb
out,
takes
finds
out
the
Nav.
main tank, and
Yeah,
that's
it's gonna be a
that's a GK round there, right there. They just keep stalling
maybe.
it. They just keep stalling it. I'm so surprised.
Anyway, you cut it. It's last fight territory.
Absolutely. Lucio finds the other Lucio.
And that'll do it. So, Golden Kitsunes is going to take the first map off of Ilios here. So we are either heading to Ruins or to Well. Find out which one it is. See if any switches come out. So we are headed to Well, which actually has the windmill, not the lighthouse. I got those two mixed up a little bit.
Happens to the best of us.
Looks like not too much is changing. Tracer's getting swapped out for the Doomfist, but Todd is going to stay on the ball. So we're looking at Ball Diva and Winston Diva respectively, and then both teams running the Sombra and Doomfist. Surprised to see Hybris not switch to a Lucio here, just for the environmental kills, but maybe they figured that they're not going to get those picks anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure the Lucio would work out too well here, especially with the Sombra. I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, I'm not gonna say like it's a massive reason, but it's one of the reasons why like a lot of the traders are going to like Lucio dies first in a lot of these fights because Sombra is present. Sombra dies early fight.
Not super great for GK.
Yeah, not at all.
She gets picked back up, but then Lucio goes down to follow, and Todd is also down. So they have no ball, no Lucio. They're going to have to back up and regroup for the next fight.
Mercy gets staggered here. I think the Doom might not be able to get out.
And Diva's going to get DMX. These are some pretty big staggers that they really didn't want on their way back.
Absolutely. Another thing I noticed last round, Tracer was only really to counter the monkey, and they kept the Tracer the whole time. So I think the pick on the Doom might be able to punish the ball a lot better here. Seeing as it's just a more consistent pick on the ball, it's been one of the main contributors to the reason why ball really isn't working here.
Yeah, I mean, Doomfist and Sombra are both pretty direct counters for Wrecking Ball, but it's not, you know, your tank selection is pretty limited, and if you don't play Diva, and if you don't play Zarya, then you're kind of stuck.
I mean, even Monkey would work here. He was doing, you know, he wasn't doing too bad on Monkey.
So we see Hybris pick Zenyatta back up, so it's 6v5, Diva's down on GK. Hybris getting some pretty solid control of the point. So far, GK hasn't really contested it. They've just been sort of stuck in these alleys, but they're going to finally get a first contest here. See if they figure out that the Doomfist is kind of hiding in wait.
Doomfist finds a massive punch. Lucio manages to get out. Diva throws the bomb, finds Sombra. I believe Sombra might be able to get picked back up. J2 finds the Zen as well. I think this might be even GK's favor here.
Yep, Hybris doesn't expend any ults. They're going to just back up and wait for the opportunity to push again.
Very smart on Hybris' part, seeing as how they have the ult advantage here.
And all they need is one fight. If they can win one fight,
Exactly.
GK won't have enough time to come back.
Absolutely.
So yeah, 3 ults. They've got Bomb, they've got Primal, and they've got Doomfist, but they now have Mercy and Zenyatta ults online as well. This is gonna be pretty ugly for Hybris, or for Golden Kitsunas, because Hybris is got a strong start. Rez
DK
comes out.
taking the Doom out as well as the Zen before he can trans. The Zen gets picked up.
So it's now 5v4. Fight just kind of flipped in the favor of GK. And Hybris used every single one of their ults so far.
That is seeming like it's in GK's favor. Diva gets the mech due to Bomb, falls in the hole.
This is pretty rough. It's a lot of ults being expended on Hybris and not so many on GK. The fight still isn't over, but
Doom
Hybris
does
has to
fine
back
too.
up.
Mercy falls to the Doom as again. Ryoko's kind of fragging out here.
So GK is regrouping for the next fight. Hybris is probably going to look to get a strong EMP and take the point.
GK seems to, GK Sombra seems to be scouting, calls the positioning of their tanks. Massive EMP from Shard. The Vault going out to follow up.
And they don't touch.
And GK manages to pull this point. I wasn't even paying attention to the percentage either. That's massive.
So GK,
massive turnaround for GK.
Taking a map off of Hybris, they get to stave off the potential L here and take it to round 4, so they'll get their opportunity on Havana.
Surprising turnout here.
Big objective kills.
For sure.
So with that, we will be back shortly with Havana. Don't go anywhere. We'll see if GK can keep the run back or if Hybris is going to shut it down. All right, and we are back for Havana. Once again, this could be the final match if GK doesn't pull out a big W here. But if they pull out a performance like they did on Ilios, we could be going to the final match on Lijiang Tower. But we will find out very shortly.
Absolutely. Now this is for sure a tough map to run ball on. I've seen it run and it really doesn't work out. I'm curious to see how Todd deals with this. This map is going to be very tough for GK if Todd can't pull off the ball here.
See if Todd goes maybe with the Winston. It looks like they're thinking about it pretty hard over there on the GK side.
Yep, and he does go with the ball here. I'm actually curious to see how it works out. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if it'll work. I'm not too sure if it won't. But hey.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
So it looks like Hybris is going to play that corner.
Yep.
No high ground for them. The tough part about that corner is anybody can just kind of walk through that door, more or less protected unless you step in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not too sure why they're holding that position, but I mean, seems to be working so far. Hybris going to challenge the Doom, finds the other. Yada picks off the other Sombra as well. Doom gets picked back up on K's side. They take the fight inside.
And Doom is back down again. Hybris still with the slight advantage. Their Doomfist is feeling the pain just a little bit, but it's going to get picked back up healing-wise. I think you might be right. I think Wrecking Ball might not be the play here.
Definitely not.
A big target.
I mean, if it works out here, it's absolutely not going to work in the second point. I mean, there's just nowhere to spin there. It's too tight and close. Much deal with that as a ball player, I feel like.
It's a big knockup, but the hack takes Todd down, so GK is down 2 here. Hybris reses their Doomfist. So this fight's
Hybris
all but
is
over.
back up again. Yep.
Be right back.
Start going for both Sombras going for a flank here.
I think they're both going for this big EMPs, and the bomb comes out. Bomb doesn't find anybody. Transcendence is used though, so they forced out the Transcendence, and they still have their EMP, and they're about to have Primal Rage and Meteor Strike.
And their bomb. You have the bomb. The Meteor Strike from Ryoko goes out. It's heavily focused by Hybris. J2 takes the pain from the hack. It's demech.
Super wide minefield here.
Yep. Odd is still in the fight. Should be backing up with his team. Sombra still contesting. Translocates away.
Sombra backs out, but now Hybris has 4 ults to GK's 1.
Yep, massive ult bank right here.
And both of their players are closer than any other player on GK.
Absolutely, they're coming up on a second trans. And another Meteor Strike from Hybris' Doom.
They need to make that beat work. Ryoko switches to the Genji too, which is interesting.
That bomb out.
If that's to try to deal with the Sombra spam.
Most likely, but I'm not sure it's gonna work out too well. I mean, if anything, Sombra probably counters Genji a lot harder, especially with the Doomfist follow-up. But it seems like, yeah, Hybris is taking this fight as well.
So I think we're gonna
GK
see...
is just stuck around this corner. It's like they just can't get out.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see Shark EMP early here to try to shut this fight up before it ever starts. Shark is lined up at the high ground looking for the opportunity to drop.
Really looking for it.
And gets EMP'd. So Shark is gonna have to wait for the EMP to wear off before they can counter EMP. Yep. And here it is.
There it goes.
It finds
only finds 3. Massive pick on the Lucio. They find the Mercy as well. Bomb goes out.
It only picks
J2 only picks 1. And a Diva mech.
It's Hybris versus 2 on
yeah.
GK.
6. Genji accepts the defeat.
And that is point A, or attack 1 for Ivana. They don't even capture 1 point, which means Hybris has not a whole lot to have to do here to secure their victory in the Saga Dive Tournament.
Initiating match.
Very, very excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, we're super close to what could be the finish, or GK could once again surprise us, pop out a crazy defense, and take us to Lijiang Tower.
Absolutely. I would be curious to see Lijiang Tower, see Todd in his, element,
Yeah. I was
So
gonna say
that's
those-
a huge ball map.
Those control maps were really, really solid for Wrecking Ball. Both of them are great
and I
ball
think
maps.
I think that's just where GK excels, typically just because of the ball. And we see J2 swapping off the Diva here, switching to Monkey, which could be huge, but I still do not agree with the ball pick here, even with the Monkey. But at the same time, possibly with the double main tank, we could take some pressure off the ball, or just in general, just seeing one of the main tanks excel here.
A complete switch on the DPS too. Now we're seeing Tracer Genji for the first time in the tournament. No Sombra for GK. Ball immediately hacked, and he's down. So that is not where
rough.
you want to be if you're GK.
Yeah, they took a very weird position there, and they lost both main tanks because of it.
He gets
Todd
rezzed,
does
but
get picked back up, but
JTO's
it's
down and
looking
Zenyatta's
very
down.
rough. Looking very rough here. Just
Yeah.
Mercy on point, manages to get picked, and it's looking very rough. They lose the main healer, just Todd on point. Gets hacked, gets picked.
Yeah, Hybris cleaning up GK on their way in. They're going to take a 6v5 here.
They're gonna have to if they want to stall at all. J2 gets pushed off the high ground. Seems like Shark is going on a flank here. Manages to hack the ball. Blade goes out. Finds the Zenyatta, which is a massive pick. They res him back up. The bomb goes out.
It takes
Finds
out
two.
two. This is looking really, really rough. Oh, it's
goes
over.
down.
It's just
Yeah.
Todd on the high ground. Todd's
Looking very rough.
all they got.
Todd making a last effort to stall here, but this is one of the worst places to stall, and he gets picked.
And they got the Lucio, but the Lucio goes down, so GK is barely gonna have a touch. They've got the Tracer, but Tracer
Oh, the Genji falls.
just barely
Gets
makes it.
EMP'd.
It's pushed off. Winston touches point. Winston's down, and that is the end of the game and the end of the tourney. Hybris defeats Golden Kitsune's 3-1, taking every single escort and hybrid map that they played today.
Yeah, I mean, very clean gameplay from Hybris. And I could say the same to GK. They did their best. I mean, I'm not too sure about the ball pick, but I can't say he didn't try. It was very good gameplay from both teams. They made very huge plays in every single game, and congratulations to Hybris.
Yeah, congratulations. It was a very well fought, very well deserved win, and guess it's not a huge surprise to see Hybris at the top of yet another Switch Overwatch tourney, but they can add Dive to their list of tournament wins. With that, I guess we kind of need to decide on a player of the match.
Man, I kind of almost just want to award Todd for his persistence on playing ball. I mean, like, it was just insane just watching him play ball throughout all this punishment. Like, I will. In all seriousness, I would award it to Isma. I mean, their bombs are just amazing, and the amount of contributions they made with their dictation of dives, and the amount of picks they got, it was just really good. Pristine GM diva gameplay right there.
Yeah, I can't argue with that too much. For me, it was either Isma or Shark. Those